Hi, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and I love to draw. And whatever I learn on my creative journey, I share it here on YouTube on this channel, and I've done that for years, and I really appreciate it that you are here too. And I hope that it's useful for your own creative journey. Just recently I moved houses. I moved to a different city where I live on the edge of the city, and well, it's a 5 minutes walk to the forest. So I go into the forest a lot, and it has been raining so much lately that I haven't had the chance to draw in the forest, but I really hope to do that soon and film the process so I can share that too, like live outside location drawing. But I took some photos on a nice walk that I took, and today I will use a reference photo to do a drawing. Nature is all about texture and pattern, and I think you can play a lot. So that is really what I want to do today. Trying to find my way with pattern and shapes and mark making. This is my first attempt to draw the view out of my studio window. I overworked it a lot, and I do love the playfulness in the back of the drawing. It's loose. That is, I think, really important when it comes to drawing greens and leaves and nature. So I will take that away from this drawing. And here I played with a black colored pencil to try and get that organic feeling of trees and the barks of trees and the branches. Just a fun kind of quick little sketch to capture that essence. And I think colored pencil, because you can create a lot of variety in line, is really great for drawing nature as it's so organic. For today's drawing, I grabbed these two tempera sticks or gouache sticks. It's basically gouache in a stick. It looks like a glue stick, and it's a very easy way to apply color quickly without using a brush. It is a kid's tool, basically. Usually you'll find it in very bright colors, but I have this nice pinkish beige and a green color that I will use as my limited colors for the drawing that I want to make of the reference picture. And I think if I look at the reference picture, those two colors make total sense. So I am starting to just do sort of blobs of color first, and then I will worry later how to describe in a more detailed way. But to start with, I'm looking at the brownish warm colors of the ground and the barks of those trees. And then there's trees in the background, so I can use a little bit of a sharper edge of the tempera stick. And I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I'm just really trying to interpret that feeling that I get from the photo, and maybe also a little bit of the depth that is in there of the path that leads us towards the trees in the background. Now I will grab my green stick, and I am not trying to draw really. I am trying to sort of painterly bring in those green shapes, just roughly looking at where those greens are of these trees. And I love how much green these trees have actually in the middle of winter. I'll emphasize a few of those barks because some of those are more in the foreground and the green doesn't overlap. So I think this way I can bring a little bit more depth. And then I want to bring a little definition in the background there. I think this is a lot of indication of color. And now I feel like I need contrast. So I'm using my brush pen, which has black ink in it, and it has a brush, so I get that organic flow of the line. I can get thicker and thinner lines. And it is a little bit scary because it's so very dark on top of the pastel-y kind of colors. But now that I started and did that first branch in the foreground, I just have to go on. I can't stop right now, and I am sure that If I bring in more contrast, it will balance out and it will start to make sense. But it is a little bit scary, I have to say, just drawing on top. But even seeing those dark bottoms of the trees encourages me a lot. And what I'm trying to do is not draw. I'm trying to do it in a painterly way. So I am mark making a lot. I'm using that brush that is the tip of my pen. And I'm looking at the leaves that I see, and I'm not trying to literally translate it. I am trying to interpret this, looking at the contrast and looking at where I can add branches without overdoing it or really describing it too literally, because it cannot describe this. There's too much going on. I need to describe the texture, the repetition of the leaves, and I think a lot of mark making to grab the feeling of there's leaves and there's movement in there. I am adding line to give an indication of light and dark on the trees, but I'm trying to do it very delicately because I don't want this to become a line drawing. And you can see that I hold my brush pen right at the end of the pen, so I don't have a lot of control. And when I want a little bit more control, I'll hold it a little bit further up towards the tip. But holding it at the end of the pen really makes you use it like you would use a brush. And I can use the side of the brush for thicker marks and then the tip of the brush, so I hold it more upwards, for smaller marks, and then I hold it sideways a little bit more for bigger, bolder marks. As I am putting my marks down here for leaves, I'm trying to do that in a way that it is divided organically and playfully. I am really enjoying the rhythm that is going on in this little woodsy scene. So I try to pick up that rhythm, doing the little dot, 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 mark, mark, mark. And then here and there I will put that line that goes from the bottom to the top, because that is a pattern of the trees, very distinct for this view. I keep adding dots and marks to indicate that there's leaves all over, and I'm using bigger dots and smaller dots to really make it playful, but I also want to keep a lot of airiness, so I'm not filling it all up. I like the texture that the tempera sticks give on the paper, and I don't want to cover that up. I am grabbing the green tempera stick again because I feel like I need a little bit of overlap, and here and there I want to tone down the black because it's super dark and it's lying on top of everything. And now I am layering, which gives it more depth. And then I can also do a little bit of mark making with this color too, which I think really gives even more variety. And then maybe I can add a little bit more contrast right in the back there to pull the eye towards wherever this path leads. Just one more bit of layering to give even more of a feeling of being pulled in by adding just a few more indications of tree barks on top. And that layer, I think, is enough for this drawing. Thank you for watching this creative exploration. I really didn't know where this would go when I started or how I would even find my way, but that is the fun of drawing. You never really know what you're gonna get. And especially if you switch up tools, there's always surprises and there's always so much to discover. And if you need an assignment for this week, I would encourage you to play with marks and with pattern and with texture. So maybe there's a forest near you or a park, or you even have some house plants, or you could find a picture online. I want to encourage you to draw greens, and maybe they're brown right now, so there's a lot of branches. Maybe you can find a way to capture those branches with the tools that you are using. It's important to have fun doing this, so don't put your expectations too high. I didn't do that either. I was just really having fun playing with those gouache sticks, and that brought me to playing with more texture and more mark making, and that way the process becomes so much fun. So I hope you have a lot of fun this week. If you like my videos, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much. And you can support me on Patreon if you want to. I'd love to see you on one of my online sessions as well, my mini workshops that I teach every month. You can find all the links to all of that below this video in the description, and I will see you next week. Bye.